Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 1821 Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Meyer, alongside Fernando Sucre. And today we're here to talk a little bit of Missouri Tigers football, Missouri Tigers basketball, and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Broncos game, which I'm sure Fernando is very pumped about and not nervous about at all. So, tonight we have a huge game between the Missouri Tigers and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Mississippi State 5-5. They're coming into this game with a little bit of a QB controversy, not really controversy. Blake Shapen may be out for the game, which leads to a true freshman versus a true freshman duel with Kamario Taylor potentially starting for the Bulldogs. And it's going to be an exciting one if Kamario Taylor plays because he's 6'4, 230. He's kind of built like DJ Lagway, and he can run, and he should scare Missouri fans. I would be scared too if I was a Missouri fan watching Kamario Taylor play. But it's going to be a very interesting game. Obviously, Missouri coming off of a loss to Texas A&M. Their college football playoff hopes are dead. Let's just put it that way. They're 6-3. There's not much to play for other than pride and just for the sake of resilience at this point. The Tigers are trying to send their seniors off with a Rock M tonight. It's going to be an interesting game. Fernando, like, going into this game, what are your thoughts? Have you seen anything on Mississippi State that would worry you if you're a Missouri Tigers fan, or is there things that encourage you?
I think when I'm looking at this game, one of the first things I think about is we're saying Missouri Tigers are playing for pride. With the play of hopes dead, I think it's important to look into the future and try to see like what are the parts that we're gonna have. The Missouri Tigers are gonna have next year. One of the biggest parts is Zollers and using this time that this remaining time of the regular season to see what kind of development can Zollers have. I think the biggest thing that we had about Matt Zollers was, well, he's straight out of high school. He doesn't have a much college football exposure. So I think it's important this following games to give him the exposure he needs, and so he can have the experience. So next year he can come in hot and he can come in and throw some bombs. A lot of really promising things with him at a Vanderbilt game and um, occasionally in the A&M game. And I think you get up some context on that A&M game because that A&M game, their defense is phenomenal. So I think it's important to remember that. So I think when I look at the remainder of the season, I want to see Zollers' development as he can get ready to be a everyday start.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Matt Zollers and Vanderbilt game looked really good. I think a lot of Missouri fans heading into the Texas A&M game thought, like, oh, like including myself, I thought, oh, like the Missouri Tiger offense, I think it's going to look um, maybe not much better, but a little bit better than it has been. Because let's be honest, under Bo Perbula for the last couple weeks before that Vanderbilt game, and in the Vanderbilt game, it's not like they were impressing anyone. They were pretty one dimensional. Teams knew they wanted to run the ball, so they would stack the box with 7 or 8 defenders and said, Bo Perbula, please beat us. We dare you to beat us. And it just wasn't happening. So a lot of fans thought, okay, with Matt Zollers in the helm, obviously young guy, probably going to make some mistakes, but very talented, was a 5-star recruit at one point. A lot of fans thought, oh, well, the offense is probably going to look a little bit better, but here we are now, and Matt Zollers went 7 for 22 last week, and a lot of fans are kind of stepping back from that, and they're saying, when can we get Bo Perbula back? I think that's kind of fair. Obviously, you'd like to have your graduate senior at quarterback. But what I will say to that, like Matt Zollers went 7 for 22, 77 yards. He looked like he had the yips a lot of the game. He was firing fastballs every play. Um, but to be fair, I don't think the Missouri coaching staff put him in the best position to succeed. Not saying that there's no blame on Zollers. I think he did some things that were pretty questionable on last Saturday's game, but the fact that Missouri didn't draw up any screen passes or swing passes to Ahmad Hardy, any quick slants, any quick in route concepts, it amazed me. Because why are you throwing your true freshman into the game telling him, yeah, we're going to have you throw 45-yard balls down the sideline about 10 times. I understand that Matt Zollers has a heck of an arm. Obviously, that's one of his key traits that the Missouri coaching staff said they would play into going into the A&M game, but they just didn't put him in a good position to succeed. And I think if you're a Tiger fan, what you're looking for tonight is you're hoping that Kirby Moore, who has gotten a lot of flack the last couple weeks, I think some of it is deserved. I think some of it's undeserved. But Kirby Moore needs to dial up this offense more friendly to Matt Zollers. Obviously, you'd love to see the kid cork some balls 60 yards down the field because he's got a crazy arm. He's got NFL potential. I said it, but he's a true freshman. Like, you've got to ease him into games like this. And I think that's what Missouri has to do if they want to win this game is kind of rein in the kid. Like, don't let Matt Zollers play hero ball. Let Matt Zollers be Matt Zollers. Let him show those traits, show those strengths off. But when he ran that Bo Perbula type of offense against Vanderbilt, looked pretty good. I don't know if they necessarily have to change the playbook all that much. It's not like they're transitioning from one type of quarterback to the other. I know Bo's more of a runner, but still can run a little bit. Do I think they should do design quarterback runs with a true freshman when your backup is a walk on? No, I don't think they will.
Hmm.
But very possible. Fernando, let me ask you this. Like, I don't know if you know like all the seniors on the team, but it is senior day. So I wanted to ask you, is there a senior on this team that you feel like has impressed you the most?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know the full list of seniors. I know that the Mizzou football social media came out recently with that, and I know some of those guys are secondary guys, a lot
Right.
of defensive guys, and I think I think looking into the next season, there's gonna be uh, for lack of a better term, a redesign of the defense on how it looks. And I think a lot of it has to do with the seniors leaving. So overall, as a team, I can see the defense being the biggest impact that in the Missouri Tigers football team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think overall, like if I had to pick one guy for a senior that I think I would miss as a Missouri fan, it's gonna be Dalen Carnell. Like Dalen Carnell has played the star position numerous years for Missouri, which is kind of that linebacker safety hybrid. He had that memorable moment versus Tennessee in 2023 when he had that game sealing pick six to put Missouri up by 8,000 points. But obviously, like Dalen Carnell will be missed. You're going to miss many guys on the defense. I think you said it best. A lot of those defensive guys are seniors. Like heading into the 26th season, Missouri is going to have to replace a lot of
Hmm.
talent. Now, thankfully, the transfer portal exists, and Eli Drinkwitz knows how to use it. Who knows if Missouri will have Eli Drinkwitz next year? That's going to be a conversation that's going to be held for really a couple of weeks. Nobody really knows where it's going to go. There's plenty of jobs open that if I was a head coach, I would be looking at. I don't blame Eli Drinkwitz for looking at other jobs, quite frankly. I know Mizzou fans won't want to hear that, but if Florida calls you or Penn State calls you, that's tempting, especially if you coach for Missouri. Missouri's been on the rise for quite some time. They have a lot of NIL money. They've invested a lot of money into the football program. So I do think Eli Drinkwitz would make the smart decision by staying at Mizzou, but who's to say he won't go to Happy Valley? Who's to say he won't go to the swamp? Nobody knows. We're going to figure it out. It's going to be a nagging conversation for the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I know that's kind of off script there, but I think overall Missouri is going to lose a lot of production due to graduation. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm obviously hoping Missouri wins so that we can see the cool little festivity of Missouri players walking off the field with the rock ham. I think it's one of the more unique senior traditions in all of college football. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Fernando, what is your overall thoughts on this game? Give me one key for Missouri to win this game. One key that you can think of.
I think just a decent passing game. I think part of the thing, like looking back at that AM game, there was some attempt the from Kirby Moore to have some kind of screen pass. But if you guys remember, the O line struggled big time against the
Yeah.
A&M D line. And to their credit, A&M's D line is probably one of the best ones in the nation. So there's that. But I think looking at this game, obviously we're not facing the A&M D line. So I want to be able to see some screen passes, slant passing, a little bit of a quick like 1-2 go passes where like Zollers has to take no more than 2 steps and throw the ball. I think that can build some confidence in him because to me, uh, what amazes me about the Missouri Tigers offense is, in paper, they have all the tools to succeed as a playoff college football team, but they never meshed. You know, like when Missouri had Booker, there was a struggle like against teams where Pribula was when he felt the heat in the pocket that he just wasn't around when he was not in script with a play. And I think with Zollers simplifies the offense because most likely he's going to want to throw the ball rather than rather than run the ball. And I think when you simplify the offense, you understand that when the defense don't expect for Ahmad Hardy to have 20 rushes, and there's a real threat from the offense to pass the ball, that will be what would help them get to the next level. Because if you think about the defense, it is a championship defense to me. They have everything right, and the D coordinator, props to him. There's a couple games where the secondary struggled, and he cleaned that up, and they look great now. So um, I think the issue's always been how do you get the offensive match for the defense?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that point a lot. I think obviously that's a big talking point is like going into this game, is Kirby Moore going to make the game easier and slower for Mad Zollers? Because it looked, quite frankly, like it was hard and fast for Mad Zollers last game. So I think that's a big point. I'd say for me going into this game, I think the key for Missouri is to get the ground game going a little bit. It certainly hasn't been bad, but I think one thing that a lot of fans haven't been talking about is Missouri's first down run success rate has been incredibly low. Missouri's finding themselves in a lot of 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 11, just because teams know that they want to run the ball. So I'm going to beg to the Missouri coaching staff yet again. I'm going to remind them that there is something called play action, and it exists. Missouri doesn't do it much, but when it does, it usually works. I don't understand why Missouri doesn't utilize play action more, especially on first down, because think about it. When you have one of the nation's best running backs in your backfield, teams are gonna focus on that running back. If you do a little bit of a fake there with Ahmad Hardy and you roll out, you're gonna have Brett Norfleet, who is back tonight, open in the flat. You're gonna have Kevin Coleman on a 10-yard in route. I don't know why they don't do it more. And I would say that for a lot of college football teams because I think the art of the play action is dying a little bit, even though it really is just a beautiful concept. So that's my football nerd coming out a little bit. I love play action. I think it's a beautiful thing. In Missouri, if they ran it more, I think their offense would be better. So, kind of in summary, I think for Missouri, you just have to have longer sustained drives. I think the defense actually played pretty well against A&M, in all honesty. I know they gave up 38 points, but, well, really 31 because Texas A&M started a drive at the 2-yard line. Um, but, I mean, when you're on the field for most of the game because your offense can't do anything, you're gonna tire out. So I think for Missouri's offense, they're gonna have to find a way to stay on the field a little bit longer, at least get 3 points, right? Who knows if they can
Hmm.
get that because they don't have a kicking game, but at least find ways to drive down the field and give yourself an opportunity to score because quite frankly, they didn't do that last week, and they've got to do that because they're playing against a Mississippi State team that is 5-5. Fernando, they're 5-5. And they have to win these one of these last two games to be bowl eligible. And for them going from 2-10 last year to bowl eligible is huge, quite frankly. And they play Ole Miss in their last game. So I think this game is going to give them a much better opportunity to win, and I think they're going to come in hungry. Um, Fernando, give me your prediction. Give me your prediction. What do you think about this game tonight?
Prediction, I'm gonna say 17 Missouri Tigers.
I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna say Missouri wins this game as well. I'm actually not feeling incredibly confident about that. I think Missouri, judging how their offense has played the last couple weeks, it's really, really hard to take Missouri right now, especially against a team that is probably hungry like Mississippi State. I'm going to take Missouri, but I'm going to take it 21-17. I think it's going to be a very low scoring game. I think both defenses are going to play pretty well. Mississippi State's really not that great of a defensive football team. But quite frankly, I don't think Missouri's offense is great right now either. I can't bet on Missouri scoring 30 or more points until I see it. So I'm going to go a low score, 21-17. I think Missouri sends its seniors off with a rock, and they're going to go into Norman, Oklahoma, 7-3, and that's going to be, I mean, who knows? Who knows? It's going to be an insane game, insane atmosphere in Norman. But yeah, I think we're both taking Missouri to win this game. But I'm taking it a little bit closer than you are. You were really close last week to the score. Actually, I think you picked 31-17 or something like that. So
Yeah,
you were
I was thinking
you were
about
pretty
that.
close. Yeah, you were pretty close. So, yeah, Missouri gets the win tonight, folks. I would bet on that. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, transitioning a little bit, Fernando. Want to talk about some Mizzou basketball? Mizzou
Yeah, let
basketball has
me
been pretty good.
let me ask you. I know I'm not very well versed on the Missouri basketball side of it, and I'm getting there. But I know last week we talked about the Missouri Tigers basketball schedule. Right now they're 4-0, and so far they expected to most likely win a lot of those games. I know they have a similar kind of model of schedule as the football team in the sense that start a little slow, and then then as the season goes through, they have a they have a lot of big rivals. So, what did you see about the Missouri Tigers when they beat Minnesota 83-60?
Yeah, I think for Missouri basketball, like they started that game pretty slow. It was close all up until about the 10-minute mark in the second quarter, I believe. Second half, I'm sorry. Used to talking quarters here with football. Um, but honestly, like there is a little bit of cause for concern. I think Missouri's defense has been really atrocious. They're allowing teams to shoot at a really high clip. And that's something that we've seen out of Dennis Gates and his teams the last couple of years at Missouri. I'm not saying that they have the worst defense ever, but a lot of fans will watch Missouri basketball play and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this team shot 10 for 23 from three. It seems to happen to us every week. Well, guys, to be honest, if it's a trend, it probably means that it's an issue. It doesn't mean that Mizzou's unlucky every single week. It means that Missouri can't defend the three ball. And I think that's something I'm watching for. Now, out of the encouraging things from that Minnesota game, I mean, point blank period, like Missouri showed some really good resilience in that game, right? Like they led a lot of the game, but they were only up by 2 to 4, maybe 6 points. Um, and they didn't look overly impressive. And then there was that 8 point possession. I don't know if you've ever heard of an 8 point possession in college basketball, but Missouri managed to get one. And I think that's where the game turned around. Missouri went on a run. Jacob Cruz was phenomenal, by the way. Jacob Cruz, if you don't know him, he's kind of like the team sharpshooter. He's the guy that comes off a bunch of screens and hits threes. He had a plus minus of 27, which is just unheard of. Like when he was on the floor, Missouri outscored Minnesota by that much. Like that's insane. So Jacob Cruz played a great game. Very impressed by Jaden Stone. I kind of was unsure how he was going to look based off the injury. He played at West Virginia, played at Detroit Mercy, and now he's a Missouri Tiger, and he really looks pretty impressive. He's a little bit more athletic than I thought he would be, and he has a beautiful stroke from the 3 point line. Ant Robinson looked really good against Minnesota as well. He's starting to shoot more threes, which I think Dennis remarked that he wanted him to do. And he's a good shooter, so he should. But overall, like, there's not much to say so far about Missouri basketball because they played 4 games. You don't know that much in this early of the season. It's impossible to know, uh, this early in the season. But so far, they look pretty decent. They look about how I expected them to look. I think they're going to be kind of a middling SEC team, finish around, the 8 to 11 range in the SEC this year. Could be wrong, could be right, who knows? But overall, not too bad.
What are your thoughts on Mark Mitchell? I know he leads the team in minutes, and obviously he's a star. And what are your thoughts on his role as their number one guy for the Missouri Tigers?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it last year. I mean, it's nothing new. Like Mark Mitchell is a big body. He's stronger than he looks for sure, and he's really good in the post. He's really good at attacking defenders in one-on-one isolation scenarios where he just uses his body to draw contact, and he sees the free throw line a lot, which is funny because he's not that great of a free throw shooter. I think he shoots around the 60% range, but overall, he looks good. The one thing I wish Mark Mitchell had is a jump shot. He just does not have a jump shot. I think his game would be elevated if he had a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of a pull up mid range game. I'm not even saying the guy has to shoot three pointers, but he doesn't have a mid range game at all. So he's pretty one dimensional when it comes to kind of what you're going to get out of him, right? He's going to attack a guy one on one. He's going to try to draw contact and get to the line. He's also going to try and maybe pull a spin move and a hook shot, or maybe just a little bit of a floater, but only from the restricted area. So, I mean, overall, he looks good. He's a great rebounder. He's a pretty good defender. And he's a good option for the Missouri Tigers. But in terms of offense, there's a lack of sustainability for Mark Mitchell, right? If he plays against a guy that's similar to his size and can move pretty well laterally, I think Mark Mitchell really struggles, and then that's when Missouri's going to have to rely on its guard play a lot this year. But so far, I mean, it's about what you expect from Mark Mitchell. He is a good college basketball player, but I don't think by any stretch he's going to be an NBA player unless he develops some sort of a jump shot.
Which leads me to the next question. For the Missouri Tigers roster, do you see anybody with any real NBA equity, like realistically, where you could see him playing in the pros?
Yeah, I mean, I think really the only guy that you can say for certain there's at least a shot is Anthony Robinson. He is the star point guard for this team. He is poised for a breakout season this year. He has played really well. I don't have a stats pulled up currently. I just know he's probably averaging around 11 to 13 a game, just off the top of my head. But he is a pretty good three-point shooter. That's an area of his game that he's really improved. He's a terrific defender. He can't stop fouling. Like, he can't stop reaching when he doesn't need to. Like, there's some tendencies of his game that I think he needs to fix if he wants to be a good professional player. But in terms of the playmaking ability, the defense, the ability to find his mid-range shot on those pull-ups and attack the basket, get to the free throw line, he's just very well-rounded. I think he's got the best chance. I know he was kind of mocked in the second round at some points last year for the NBA draft. Chose to stay again, and I think that's going to benefit him. But I think he's probably a second round selection when he goes to
Hmm.
the NBA draft. I don't know about first round unless he starts really ramping it up and he averages around that 15 points per game mark and about 4 to 5 assists. I think that's when you're going to see him slide into that first round. But really impressed with Anthony Robinson. Definitely one of my favorite players to watch on the team. Just pretty impressive from Anthony Robinson so far this season.
Awesome. Well, I know we got the schedule. We got the first game is against Notre Dame, and the big old Kansas game right afterwards. So towards the end of December, and then towards the beginning of January, that's when it looks like the schedule starts ramping up, and we're gonna start seeing some big games.
Yeah, yeah, I think the Notre Dame game is going to be very telling for Missouri. I know Missouri fans will want to win the KU game, and I mean rightfully so, right? Like if you play your arch rival, you want to win, and it's going to be a neutral site game, so it's not at Allen Fieldhouse, which is good for Missouri. But I think you're going to learn more in the Notre Dame game than you will the KU game. I think you're going to learn more about how this team handles the road environment. I think it's going to be a good crowd for the Fighting Irish. And I think overall, like with the KU game, I mean, if I'm honest, I think KU is an exponentially better team this year. Uh, but I do think Mizzou could beat them. I mean, no doubt, like Mizzou beat them last year. And KU wasn't like normal KU, but we'll see. I think once we get into those kind of higher up non-con games, I guess you could say they're going to have a lot of cupcakes going forward. But once you get to those games, I think you're going to learn more about just how good Missouri basketball could be. I think they have a potential to be good. I think they have more of a potential to be a pretty good basketball team this year than they do a bad basketball team. So that's good. I don't think Missouri is necessarily a bad team. I think they're an NCAA tournament team potentially, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's transition a little. Let's get to our last thing because I know you're dying to talk about it because your Kansas City Chiefs, your beloved Kansas City Chiefs, play the Broncos this week. Now, Bo Nix, dog, but also he's kind of been mid, right? What's your opinion on Bo Nix and the Broncos offense heading into this game?
Yeah, I don't think their offense is that great. And it could be famous last words here on this podcast. You're at first, but if you look at the last couple games from Denver, their defense have completely carried their team. And like when you look at championship teams, you've heard saying defense wins championships, and I think that's the mentality Sean Payton's been having with their team. Would they want to score for points? They, would Sean Payton want bonus still better? Absolutely. But this game, it's the home game for Denver, so they're gonna play on the crowd. So they're expected to, maybe win the game because they are in Denver. But I really think that the path to victory for the Kansas City Chiefs is really just be able to hold on to football, and be able to, dominate, score. It's not rocket science, with the Kansas City Chiefs, because I think if you've looked at the last few games for them, their biggest issue has been on the defensive side has been the D line. I know if you look at Twitter, you get people's opinions and stuff like that. There's this idea that Chris Jones has not been playing as well as he can, but the reality of it is, how do you evaluate a defensive tackle? Because he could be getting double teamed. Who knows? And you have to look at real tape to see that. And one of the things I read on Twitter a couple weeks ago, I guess, when they played the Bills, they're like, "Oh, we're expecting that sack from Chris Jones, so Kansas City could get the ball and tie the football game or something like that." And he's done it in the past, but hey, what if the Bills' offense was scheming specifically against Chris Jones? So then the question is, if Chris Jones is playing well, but he's just getting double teamed, where's the rest of the D line? And I think that's where the real problem is. So I think uh, I think one of the things I want to see from Kansas City defense is a better effort from the D line. I know there has been quite a bit of injuries. I know that on the defensive side, some of the D line guys have been hurt. They've been slightly slipping us in there. And if you look at a football game, the D line is probably one of the most rotatable positions in the field. So because it rotates so heavily when there's injuries, and it's hard, uh, so then on the offense side, I think really just keep going at it. I know Pacheco got hurt. Well, he has been hurt, and we're hoping some good games from the running back group. So we'll see how it looks like. I'm hoping a victory. I know Mahomes has been playing great, and I know Andy Reid does really, really good on the game after the bye week, and I can see them cleaning up a lot of their work.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be quite frankly honest. I think this is a bad matchup for the Broncos. Usually like when the Chiefs are playing teams with better records, I'll kind of look at the game and see kind of what the matchup looks like. And I've always held to this, and I don't know if you see it the same way that I do. I think it's really hard to beat a team that has a really good offense if these two things are the case. If one, you have a good defense, but two, you don't have a great offense. I think it's better for a team to win in a shootout versus the Chiefs because here's the thing. I don't care how good your defense is. I think the Chiefs are going to score points. Like the Chiefs manage to score versus whoever they play. That's not to say the Chiefs are going to score 45 points against the Broncos, but I do think they're good for about 27 to 31 points potentially. The question is,
Mhm.
can the Broncos score 27 points? I don't think that's the case. right? I think the Chiefs' defense is incredibly good. People never talk about it. I don't know why, because obviously the Chiefs have maybe the greatest quarterback to ever play the game on their team. But the Chiefs' defense, if we're kind of honest, has spearheaded a lot of their success and very, very quietly. So, Fernando, do you feel the same that I do? Do you think this is a kind of highly favorable matchup for the Chiefs against the Broncos this week?
Yeah, I think so. I was looking at some of the injuries on the Denver side, and their superstar Patrick Payne is out, and there's a couple of missing guys in the linebacker group. So I could see the Chiefs taking advantage of you know of third ball more. I can see Patrick throwing a lot more of the football, and with Pacheco being hurt and down to two running backs, I can see them just going crazy. I know. I was looking at the injury report now, and Xavier Worthy says he's listed with ankle injury, but he participated, and I think I can see a big game from Worthy. I can see him being heavily used because it looks like a lot of the defenses in the NFL have kind of like readjusted to Rasheed Rice after the Raider game. I think a lot of teams around the NFL. Okay, he's really stinking good. So I think it's gonna be one of those like pick your poison. The one of the biggest news I'm excited about. It looks like Josh Allen is gonna play. He has been phenomenal. If you read at the end of his story, he was dealing with some family stuff, and kudos to him. You know, family obviously goes first
Mhm.
before football, and I think additional to that, kudos to him keeping it private. You know, because it would have been easy for me to be like, okay, I'm just what's happening, rather than protecting the family involved in that thing. So I'm excited to have him back. I'm excited to just go crazy, and I think there's a path to win the division. Um, I think it starts this Sunday because we get to play Denver twice. Sorry, Kansas City gets to play Denver twice. They have one more game against the Chargers, and I think if the Chiefs win out all those games, I think it can be a good position. I stick to my guns. I can see them still being a wild card team, but they can get far. They can still get far as a wild card team. So either place, I still see them do some type of playoff push in January, February.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think the Chiefs are a really good team. And I mean, it's been a tale of two sides of the season, right? Like to start the season, the Chiefs struggled because they were without Rasheed Rice, without Xavier Worthy for a few games because of the shoulder separation. But now they look like a completely different team. I mean, they just look so improved. Even and I'm not gonna lie, like I don't always like seeing the Chiefs win because they always win, and it's not always fun. But I mean, in all honesty, like you gotta appreciate that they're a really good football team. I'm gonna jump straight into my prediction. I think they win the game 31-20. I don't even think the Broncos can get to 24 points against the Chiefs.
Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna say I think it's gonna be a lot closer. I think it's gonna be 31-28 Kansas City.
I like that. I like that. I think that's a good prediction. Do you have anything else to add on that Chiefs game or?
No, the only thing is, aside from the game itself, I know in the news, Spags again in the discussion for another head coaching job. I think it's so funny
As he
because,
should be.
yeah, because he's probably the greatest D coordinator the NFL has ever seen in the last 10 years, and he's great. But part of me wonders if he's done head coaching enough where he probably is incredibly content with his current situation. But this is my favorite brain talking. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Steve Spagnuolo ever impressed too much as a head coach either, so I think he would be honestly kind of smart to stay as a DC, but I mean, that's his decision. I mean, maybe he wants to try it again. Maybe he wants to make a little more money because obviously he would as a head coach, so who knows. But guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the 1821 Sports Podcast. Again, just to recap, Missouri against Mississippi State tonight. We think they win and close game potentially. Mizzou basketball's 4-0. They look pretty solid so far, but not too much to say in 4 games. And we both think the Chiefs win against the Broncos. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. Make sure that you follow our X account, doing live updates throughout the game, and also our article will be up as soon as the clock hits 0. So make sure you go read our instant recap on that. And yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode. Have a good day, guys.